New beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, move G. Anything to get a buck. You won't find me in the club. I'm in the lab trying to sharpen up the sword. Swinging blades at these scrubs. Bitches flock like bugs to the light. Damn right. Treat my hoes like these raps. I don't really got a type. Off top bullshit and all I needed was a mic. Yeah. Hey, pass the rock, it's all butter. Pack your bags and take flight. Don't worry, it's all covered. Hey, live your life while you can. Our days are all numbered. Rain could cause thunder, but the sun comes after, clearing up the disaster.
Isn't it lovely? I ain't looking back, I'm focused on what's in front of me. Everybody day's a number, but I'm still here luckily. I know that God got me, so I'm in good company. Like, yeah.
I got some places I should take you to see. You know it's easy when you ride with a G. Light speed, moving fast through the city, trying to find me some peace. I finally lived to be the guy that I was dying to be. Still I got some trust issues, people lie through their teeth. The more I grew, the more they hide in the crease. Squad building, weak members get released. If we trying to compete, starting pitchers need relief. Bro, we building a team, everybody got a niche. I've been known to play mine to a T, but it's time for me to lead, picking dirt right out the cleats. Steep path, roadblocks in the streets, trying to knock me off my feet, cause the devil never sleeps. So I don't sleep too and trying to...
Got a new hat. It's about time.
Really lost. So I'm not entirely sure how this video is going to go. I know what I want to talk about, how that comes across. It might take, just bear with me. There might be some winding roads. Part of the reason for documenting this journey and putting this out there was I wanted to hold myself accountable, but another part of it is that I think sometimes, especially with software development, there's a lot of people out there showing you how to do tutorials or their day in their life at Microsoft or Google or whatever, and that is awesome. And I do like watching those videos when I'm learning something. I like someone, pointing out what they're building, and that's why I love the whole indie hacker and solo building and founder thing. But I think sometimes there's a lot of people posting all the good stuff and not the realistic stuff, or the stuff that happens to you whilst you're doing these things. Part of this is wanting to be super honest and open, and I think for me, when I see other people doing that and they're in similar positions to me, it really helps. It really helps to see that you're not the only one struggling with something. And I want to talk about that. I think I'm going to have a couple of videos like this where you can just sit and get my mind off things, and maybe it helps someone along the way, maybe it doesn't. You can turn this off now if you want. So basically I had an experience with a technical interview recently, and I think before I get into the explanation of that, I want to give a bit of a backstory about me as well. So, you're not just watching some random person talk to their phone on YouTube. But also shout out to people. We've all done it. We've all thought content creators like, oh yeah, it's just YouTube or whatever. Christ on a bike, it is difficult to keep consistent and make things and think about all these different things. So props to anyone out there making stuff. You rock. I nearly missed this week because my week of work this week just got so busy. Anyway, I didn't have the most obvious journey into this side of things. I kind of went to do development, didn't do development, went again, didn't do it, flip, flop, changed, did loads of stuff. So I originally went to university to study music industry management. And at the time in the UK, I was in sixth form. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I love music. I played music, recorded music, did music tech. And that's what I thought I wanted to do. I didn't want to go and play music study music because I thought I'd ruin something that I loved, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. At 17, 18, how do you know that the thing you're going to go and study for 3 years is exactly what you want to do unless you're destined to be a doctor or anything, you know? So I always loved computers. I was always taking things apart. I was always tinkering and taking things apart, putting them back together, probably not right. And my parents they were very patient, so thanks, Mum and Dad. And I also got into playing with code and stuff, but I didn't think that I was smart enough to go and do it. And I didn't have that confidence to even try and put that into words to try and get onto a uni course to do it. I wasn't the best academically. I only just got into the course that I went for. It's one of those, when I'm passionate about something, I'll go and I will learn it and I will become good at it if I want to. And it will be all or nothing. But if I'm not that bothered, I'm a bit slacking, let's say. You know, I was making things like proxy servers at sixth form, so we could bypass the school security to go and look at anything we wanted on the internet. You know, things like that. But I'm applying for a course that I'm going to go and do for 3 years, and there's, you know, the teachers are there to help you, but you're kind of pushed to that thing regardless. You kind of don't have a choice after that point. You obviously do, and you can change courses, but it's not as simple as you're there now, you can go on to another course. So anyway, I went and studied music industry management, and I did really well at uni. I got first. I loved the course. I did a hell of a lot of work, but I did slack as well, and I did everything you do in uni, which is college for Americans. And towards the end of that course, we did a entrepreneurship module, which I loved, and we had to build a project. And for mine, I created a prototype of an app, like a web application and mobile application that connected musicians to managers, to marketers, to all of these different things. And it went down really well. I loved doing it, and it brought back that spark of like wanting to do development. Like, I never really lost it, and I played about with things and made websites and stuff, but again, I just didn't think I could do it because I didn't study it. I didn't feel like I was good enough to go and do it. Doing this module and making this product and stuff was great, and it made me think. I was a bit wayward. I didn't know what to do after uni. I don't think a lot of people do. And I found one of my best friends, Arthur, shout out, said, you know, there's master's courses that are like conversion courses, so you don't have to have studied the thing before. So I found one in London, and I went and did it. You had to apply and do a big thing and explain why you wanted to do it, and I did, and I got in, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. But me being me at the time, the master's was hands down, and I know I'm privileged to say this, but the worst year of my life. Like, I was studying, but then I was like working in a pub and drinking and going out and dealing with what I now know to be depression and anxiety, but at the time didn't have a clue. I was just like, oh, what's going on? So I finished the masters, and that was great, but a terrible year, and I didn't do it to the best of my ability. I decided to do it in a year block rather than 2 years, to give yourself, like, do it part-time. Yeah, silly decision, but, you know, you live and you learn. Won't be doing that again. After I finished, I went and started working in, got a job as a sales and development manager after working in a coffee shop. Went and worked at the Truman Brewery and managed sales for their markets and some of their venues and events and stuff. Built people websites on the side, but didn't do anything with it again. And I kind of fell by the wayside. And the pandemic hit. This is probably like this for a lot of people. I moved back in with my family, with my parents in Wales. So moved from London to Wales, and suddenly I had all this time and started teaching myself to code again and doing everything from scratch, really. And then I met an awesome guy called Tim, who owned a few different businesses, really great businessman and just all-round person who ran the music festival and also some other businesses. So I ended up being a festival organizer and event manager, and then took over their, like, I had to do all the website for them, and then ended up doing the websites and some other tech and IT for Tim's other businesses. And Tim became a great mentor as well, and that's something that's really important in all of this, is finding those people that will help you but push you, but, you know, be stern but also just really supportive of you, and just great teachers. And then they become great friends. I think there's a song in that, Neighbours. So yeah, so that got me back into working in tech and websites and IT and things like that. Then I started freelancing for people, helping people I knew with businesses, with their websites and things like that. But in this role with Tim, I ended up wearing many hats, not just as a web developer, but also like an office manager, a project manager, all these different things. And I learned so much about business and just everything really, and balancing that with teaching myself to code again on the side and all these different things. And is the best experience of my whole life. And it really set me up to think about wanting to run my own businesses. I feel like I had different experiences that I could all merge together, and my experience kind of feels like the best experience you could have to want to start your own business in a way. But then in finding tech jobs and software development jobs, it doesn't really stand up. But anyway, I started freelancing and doing a lot of work for people on web development, software development, and just basically teaching myself and going out and getting clients. And then worked for a few other businesses doing web development. But it wasn't exactly the most straightforward path, and it's been hard to find work for just software engineering jobs or things like that. And it'd be great to go and work for a company, but again, it'd be great to get that experience, but am I cut out for that? Yeah, I know I could do the job, but would I then hit a point where I'm like, ooh, I want to go do some other stuff now, you know? All this said, it got me back in. It gave me the confidence. I started building projects, I started building business ideas, full stack applications, everything. And, you know, like writing production ready code and things like that. And then moving here to Vancouver, it's been like 2 months, and I've had technical interviews, I've had interviews with different companies, and started building my confidence back up. And there's been so many times throughout this experience and this journey of mine that I've had that meant that I was so close to doing it and then didn't have the confidence, and the confidence is what let me down, which sucks, but that's the way things go sometimes. Sometimes you need to fail at things to eventually get to that point and be like, this is what I want to do. But all this to say, I had a varied road, and it's not the most straightforward, more business orientated, done a lot of different things, a lot of different experience. But sometimes the technical isn't all that it's about. Like I had to work really hard to get good at coding, and I'm still not there. Like I'm good, but I'm not a 10x engineer, and I never will be. But, well, never say never, but you know. But I don't think that's my only role. Like I love coding, but I've got all of this business knowledge and this client knowledge and all of this that like helps you as a programmer down the line. But anyway, the whole point of this, and I'm going to move because I'm so hot. But basically the reason that I'm talking about all of this is because I had an experience recently. So I had an experience recently, which was a technical interview. It was early in the morning, and I wasn't sure if it was a technical interview. It was just like a next interview. Seemed really good, the initial things that I'd have, and it's a role that I could do, and I knew I could do, and I was positioned well to do it. But I came to the technical interview, and the first question was about data structures, and I froze. Like I froze so hard, and I don't know if it was being caught off guard or the fact that it was early in the morning or what, but I froze harder than the iceberg that sunk the Titanic is probably a good analogy. I couldn't answer any questions. It's like I'd never studied any of this stuff or learned these things. It was weird. And I think what happened was I froze, and then all of these experiences in the past that I'd had with like struggling with my masters and failing exams and all of this stuff kind of hit me that I was like, oh God, I'm doing it again. Like I'm not good enough to do this. And it's that confidence coming back. And it's crazy how these things happen. But the interview goes on, and the guy was great. He was so patient and kept trying to help me and do all these things, but the simplest of things I couldn't tell you. It was mental. The role would have been web development, and if you give me a website to do, I could do it. But for whatever reason, I froze. And I think it's lack of experience in technical interviewing and stuff, and I have this nervousness towards it. But anyway, basically, that happened on, I don't know what day it was, but I got off the call. I cried, if I'm honest, and felt rubbish, like all this hard work I'd done. Moving to a new country as well, a new place, and you know, money doesn't last forever. You need to start working again and getting some money in. And it hit me, and I moped for a day, and then I had a great talk with my partner, Alana, and I bounced back. And then, a couple of weeks later, signed some new freelance clients, got some work at an agency, have other things coming down the line and meeting people and getting out there. Like, that's the difference a couple of weeks can make, sometimes even days. And I hope you're following me here, and I hope this all makes sense still. We've just watched someone ramble for 10 minutes, but if you love something and if you're passionate about it, it doesn't matter how good you are at it to start. If the passion's there, the rest will come, it will fall into place. I think sometimes you have to fail and you have to hit those points to be able to grow and get to where you want to be. I think one of the main takeaways for all of this is, especially within engineering and tech or running a business or anything like that, you're always learning. It's not possible to know everything. And I think sometimes coming in as a junior developer or just starting out your career, you think you should know everything, and you know, someone asks you a question and you may be like, oh yeah, I've used that before, but the best thing to do is say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to do the work. I don't know right now, but I'll go and figure it out. I learn something new every day, and I think every developer you'll see out there will be learning every day. And you know, my experience with this technical interview that went absolutely the worst you could possibly have it, makes you, like, I do feel like a fraud sometimes, and I feel like, why are you making videos on YouTube like about this thing that you do, but are you an expert? It's like, no, I'm not an expert. You know, you see some of these other YouTubers like Prime G and stuff. I love his stuff, and I am in awe of how good of a developer he is, but it takes time to get there. I'm relatively new in this journey, you know. I've got a couple of, less than 5 years experience. It's okay not to know everything, and it's okay to feel like a fraud. Like, you speak to anyone, everyone has imposter syndrome, you know. But you can't know everything. I think the things to focus on is your attitude. Don't let your ego get in the way, but if you have the right attitude at not knowing things and how to learn them and problem solve, you go a long way. I think finding a community of people like Jacob Sucks at Codes, his dev club is so good. So many awesome people in there. One of them, Peacock, shout out, is even offered to do technical interview, like mock interviews and stuff like that to help people get in there. Just, you never stop learning. It doesn't matter if you don't know something. You can learn it, you'll get there. Don't give up. I gave up a few different times and pushed back. You know, I could be 10 years into a coding job now, or programming jobs, you know, but I wasn't ready. I didn't know that, but I wasn't ready, and it took time to get there. And it all happens at the right time. It sounds kind of, you know, a bit wishy-washy or whatever, but it takes time and you'll get there. It falls into place at the right time, trust me. Last thing, wherever you're at, write a post-it note or something, or like a little message, whether it's something like, I deserve to be here, or an inspiring quote. Get that post-it note, get that bit of paper and just stick it in front of wherever you work, just to remind yourself that you're right where you should be. So I thought I'd just, oh my Christ, hang on. Yeah, thanks for watching if you stayed this long, and thanks for sticking with me. I think I probably went on a little bit, but I just wanted to explain, where I'm coming from and my views on this whole thing. So I think the main takeaways are find a good community, try and find a good mentor, don't give up, and just remind yourself, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Just keep going.